Thank you, Studio B. Hello and welcome to Stock Review with me, Trishna Patel. On this edition, JC from IWSChart.com will be walking us through some corporate profile stocks from this past week. Thank you, JC, for taking the time to talk to us today.
Thank you, Trish. It's always great to be back here.
Now, JC, before we begin, how was the market this past week? How is the Chinese New Year rally looking like?
Now, before we do that, let me just show you the contest that we're doing now, which is still 10 more days. Now, this contest will end on Chinese New Year, and we still don't have any clear winner yet. Now, if you want to win a Xiaomi plus prizes more than 3,000 ringgit, come to the Facebook website shown in here and join our IVSA stock contest. But more about that after this in our next market. Now, the market review, what we have seen in here from the Chinese rally, like Tristan just said, it is still lurking in the dark. Now, we have the breakout to the upside around 1820. But what is very important is the overhead resistance. Now, the overhead resistance or the 200-day moving average, it is still 1830. Now, that is very, very important level to be seen there, because once the market able to break through this 1830, you can see every analyst in town, every technical, as well as Bloomberg mentioned it, and that will put more like putting kerosene into a fire, making that rally continue once we see that 1830. As of now, we are seeing at 1850, very narrow spread bar, very low volume. That does mean a little bit of accumulation. We cannot break lower from here onwards.
Now, let's move on to the stocks on corporate profile. First up, let's have a look at PRESTARIANG BERHAD. PRESTARIANG was awarded the sole licensing partnership to distribute Microsoft software to all Malaysian government agencies. The licensing contract is for a duration of 3 years, in effect from February this year. Now, JC, can we have a look at your price and volume chart for PRESTARIANG so we can get to know it a bit better?
Yes, of course. Now, if you look at the chart that we've seen in here, the licensing will start somewhere in February. So that kind of news will tend to be released maybe 2 or 3 months down the road. That's where we saw the market sell-off that we have in December, in mid-December, where the market broke through 135. You can see from the chart here. But that represents a lot of strength in the background. Now, in IVSA, like it or not, strength comes from the downside and weakness comes from the upside. So that's how it works, because a lot of people would like to buy into the rally, but in IVSA, you don't. You want to buy into the sell down, but make sure volume is almost absent at all. You could see and sometime in mid-December where the volumes was very low, and then suddenly we have this rally coming into the end of January when the market broke through the 170, 175.
Now, PRESTARIANG did not indicate the annual contract worth, but CMB Research said that according to their channel checks, the contract should be around 45 to 50 million US dollar, if not higher, and this would translate to about 162 to 180 million ringgit. The research firm also said that the licensing agreement could boost PRESTARIANG's net profit by at least 16.2 million ringgit. CMB Research said that this contract is important as it will contribute as much as 65% of the group's expected 2014 net profit. Now, JC, do you see this news as being a catalyst that will push its share price upwards?
Definitely so. Now, whatever's been seen already been priced in. However, you could see the angle or trajectory of the price level. It is at 45 degrees, which is very wonderful. But what's more important, we can see third bar from the left, which is an upthrust. Now, the upthrust generally need to be confirmed. We haven't seen this break down lower yet. That instead, the market broke through the 2 ringgit level and seems taking out the 205. On the upside, this can go above 230. A very nice stock, nice uptrend. Of course, you want to buy when there is a little bit of pullback.
Now, let's move on to HUA BERHAD. The affordable housing player forayed into a new market when it acquired 2 parcels of land in mainland Penang. The lands have been earmarked for the development of serviced apartments, commercial shop lots, as well as a condominium block. Now, the total estimated gross development value for the development is about 313.5 million ringgit. RHB Research also believes that there should be a demand for HUA's affordable development. Now, JC, let's have a look at HUA's price and volume chart first, shall we?
Yes, if you look at the HUA chart that you see in here, other than sometime in mid-February, we have a sort of like a 2-bar reversal down. Market is still holding above its 2 ringgit and 15 cents. What is very important, the price level now is above the 2 major moving average, which is the 50-day moving average at 215 and the 200-day average at $2. What we are seeing now, we also see strength in the background, a little bit of test, but we haven't seen the line change yet, which means the breakout. Now look to accumulate this with a low risk to reward side.
Now, Kenanga Research still likes HUA for its edge in the affordable housing segment as demand still remains highly resilient. However, the research firm said that HUA has fallen victim to the lower income earners trap. Now, JC, what advice would you give to sideline investors?
Now remember, HUA here being one of the so-called dividend play stock in the property sector will do well. Now you can see from the PE is relatively low, less than 5 times PE. So this is really an undervalued stock, having said that. And with dividend almost at 5 to 6% and also a nice ROE. So this stock has really been beaten down a lot. This is one of the better property stocks should you interested to get one in 2015.
Now, we also looked at MITRAJAYA Holdings BERHAD. MITRAJAYA ended financial year 14 on a record high. The construction firm recorded 1.1 billion ringgit in job wins in financial year 14. Now, this is more than double of what is secured in financial year 13, which was also a record-breaking year. JC, what can we look at in MITRAJAYA from a technical standpoint?
Now, if you look from the price and volume chart, the IVSA chart, before this breakout above the 110, we could see there is a lot of strength on the background. You can see back sometime in the month of January, there were lots of green arrow. Now, the green arrow in here are not buy signal, but they are sign of strength, meaning demands are coming in, overcoming supply. And we see the price could not even go lower. Lower prices are rejected, and then eventually breaking above 110. I do think I remember on 120, there was some coverage of this by the analyst, subsequently pushing this price higher above 130. Of course, any higher prices will be deemed as profit-taking from some institutional as well as retailer.
Hong Leong IB thinks that MITRAJAYA is an under-researched hidden gem. It said that the company offers visible yet superior earnings growth at bargain valuations. It also added that MITRAJAYA has attractive yields of 3.6 to 6.5%. Now, JC, should investors look to get a good dividend play out of this stock?
Yes, certainly true. Similar to HUA, the play is about the same. Now, we all know that MITRAJAYA is one of the property play in here, with some projects also in Nusa Jaya, Iskandar as well, also in Kota Damansara. We are very nearby in here. From chart-wise, this is certainly very, very beautiful from an IVSA chart. Holding above $1 in here, looking to break up 130. But investor, be careful. There will be some profit taking come into place. Look to accumulate at perhaps 120 before the next breakout.
Now let's also have a look at OKA Corporation BERHAD. The precast concrete manufacturer stands to benefit from the rising demand in infrastructure-related products. RHB Research thinks that OKA might also benefit from the rebuilding of the flood-affected areas. The research firm sees potentially higher orders in the first quarter of this year before the implementation of the goods and services tax. Now, JC, walk us through the OKA Corps with your charts.
Yes, if you look from the OKA chart, it had broke through the 200-day moving average as well as the 50-day around the 85 cents. Nice base building around the 85 and 90 cents in here. Lots of sign of strength. However, any breakout to 95 cents or above, profit taking, it's coming in. So that means higher prices are rejected currently 95 cents. So it will take a lot of what we call absorption in here. You could see the volume is also coming in here because there are what we call a price memory. Now, price memory occurs when people bought it sometime around 1 ringgit back in September 14. This is where they want to get out because there's so much pain. They remember they have to draw down all the way to 50 cents. Now imagine in September last year you bought it and then you hang on to 50 cents. You have lost 50% of this investment or so-called trading. Well, so a chance now to get out at 95 cents, you would because you're losing less. So that's why we see higher prices are rejected, and that's the definition of price memory.
Now, JC, what are the key points that investors should be looking at in regards to investing in OKA Corporation? Now,
like it or not, OKA has a very good ROE at the 13% in here. Nice base building around 90 cents in here. Another good dividend payout. It's around 3.7% in here. You can see for IVSA chart. PE is also 6 times. So it does make this as a very good dividend income play with undervalue. So a good play for fundamental, also a good play for the IVSA chart.
Now, last week, JC, you picked out Dialog Group BERHAD as the hot stock of the week. What else can you add on this?
Now, if you see from the last week review stock chart, it's called dialogue in here. Now, from the insert, we could see a lot of strength. Now, typically, a lot of the stocks that we pick here in the stock review IVSA chart will have a lot of green arrow. That's what you want to do. You want to have SOS in the background, sign of strength in here, whether it is line change, spring or test. That happens. Now you could see immediately, subsequently, the next 5 to 8 bars, market broke higher, as we see now on the right side of the bar, 170. This, ladies and gentlemen, will move higher.
Now moving on to the hot stock of the week. JC, what do you have for us?
Yes, I have one stock pick for the week. It's called Maybulk or Malaysian Bulk. Now, this is one of those nice stocks in here. Pay a slight nice dividend, although it is ROE, it's not fantastic. So this is a trading stock in here. Market to break through the 50-day moving average. Now, remember any line change that you see in here, which is the widespread bar, profit taking place, but this stock wants to go higher. So we have another breakout to 140, again distribution more to the side, but it didn't go lower than 140 in here. So we will probably see the Maybulk move sideways before heading higher, but I'll be back to refer to this next week.
Thanks JC for the valuable insights. That's all for this edition. On behalf of JC and myself, have a good trading week ahead. Back to you, Studio B.